So we've got Cameron Palin in today, and he's standing for the Green Party for Isle of Wight West.
Yeah, correct.
How's it going, Cameron?
It's going really well. Really positive reception at the doorsteps. When leafleting out in the towns, a lot of people are saying, I can't vote Conservative, I can't vote for Keir Starmer's Labour Party. I've seen what you've done on the town council, and I think you could do really well in Westminster.
Really?
Yeah.
So it might be Cameron Palin MP on the 5th of July, might it?
It could be very well be that, yeah.
That would be a bit of a shock.
We aren't in this campaign for the sake of a win it to win it. East and West, we've got the highest Green vote outside of Brighton and Bristol for the Green Party, and we're campaigning hard because we believe we can win.
Brilliant. So you've got a young baby, haven't you?
I have got a little boy. He's 1. Yeah.
So have you been out kissing other babies, or?
Well, no, not out kissing other babies, no. But he's been out. Me and my partner have been out around Wellesbourne Ward, which is the council ward I'm in, taking him out with us, and he just loves carrying the leaflets.
That is very young. How old is he? 1?
He's only 1. Yeah. He's in his pram, holding the leaflets.
Well, we've heard about Joe Robertson taking his young children out, but at least they're old enough to speak. And he's clearly going to be a Green campaigner as he gets a bit older.
Well, I hope so.
So, what are the national polls doing with the Green Party at the moment?
So the national polls are interesting. Obviously, we've seen some polling suggesting both Isle of Wight seats are going to go Labour. I mean, this is MRP data, so this is a national poll picking thousands of people. It's not local polling here. But what we've seen is that actually people want to vote Green. When you look at the YouGov poll that goes, actually, if people didn't have to vote tactically to get the Conservative out, 17% of people would want a Green MP. We were only second to Labour in that sense. And I think what this shows is that the current system of government isn't working for people, the current voting system doesn't work. But the conversations we're having on the doorstep are really positive, and people want to see Green change on the island and across the country. We've got some really strong target seats in the mainland, but the Isle of Wight is massively being pushed by us as well.
Right. Why do you want to be an MP? What is it that you want to achieve?
So, I've been involved in politics since I was 14, and I've just seen how local government and national government make such a massive impact on everyday lives. Whether that's with the ice rink campaign I started when I was 14, on the fiasco of the floating bridge, looking at transport, looking at infrastructure. Islanders' lives have revolved around what national government decides, and it hasn't worked. 14 years of cuts hasn't worked. I work in the education sector, and education has been decimated. We've got teachers leaving, kids unhappy in schools. We need fundamental change, and we believe we have the best plan to deliver that.
So you started when you were 14. Were your parents politically active? Did they take you out when you were 1?
No, absolutely not. No. So, my background is very much, and even my parents are involved in politics. My granddad was a lifelong Conservative until this election, where he's going to be voting for me. And
Are you sure?
He's been out on the campaign trail delivering leaflets in his local area. And it massively came from that grassroots movement. My dad used to play ice hockey, so I grew up at the ice rink, and it was kind of I looked at the situation we're in. We had an MP which at the time wasn't doing anything on the ice rink, a Conservative council which wasn't doing anything. So as a campaign group, I campaigned on the outside. I've realised the change happens on the inside, so we need to be in Westminster and in local government nationally to make this change.
So what's coming up on the doorstep?
So
what's not coming up on the doorstep?
Doorstep massively about ferries, cost of living crisis, and our public services are all coming up on the doorstep. People want to see better regulated, cheaper prices and a more reliable ferry service. So we're saying we would nationalise the ferries. On education, people don't feel that their children are getting the best out of the education system. We've got teachers in schools that aren't qualified to teach the subjects they are. We've got kids in schools without maths teachers that are maths specialists, so that needs to change. And then when we look at the NHS as well, we've seen more islanders having to travel off island for treatments because we haven't got the staff or the specialists here. The whole system is just broken. I think one of the things that hasn't necessarily come up on the doorsteps is people's enthusiasm for Labour. which the polls are saying Labour are going to win. We haven't seen this enthusiasm for Labour. It's the fact that actually people are fed up with the Tories and they want to see an alternative, and actually they don't say, I really, really like Keir Starmer. What they're saying is, I don't like the Tories, I want change, I like the stuff you're saying on public transport, I like the stuff you've done with your local record in the towns, you've been a local champion, so actually maybe you're the best person for this job. There's a lot of undecided people still, so that's why doing these interviews are really important to reach as many people as possible.
So it's all to play for?
Absolutely.
Excellent. What do you think is the biggest challenge facing the island?
Our housing crisis.
Yeah.
Myself and my partner moved into a rented property end of last year, but trying to get a house as a young person is a massive struggle, even renting. Whether that's the prices, the competition for it is massive as well, to try and get a rented property. So we've got some plans around that. So our co-leader, Carla Denyer, has been championing Bristol rent controls, as has Sian Berry when she was standing for London Mayor, where local authorities can say to private landlords, you need to cap at this level, you're not allowed to charge rents any higher, which means it's actually affordable for islanders. And also the lack of homes in that sense, we are pushing the government to say to local councils, look, we want to support you to build more council homes. So we've got a plan over every year for 10 years to build 150,000 council homes. So that way we can get local councils in charge of more homes rather than them being sold off as they were many moons ago.
But even with the most enthusiastic view in the world, we're not going to have a Green government, are we?
We're not going to have a Green government. We're going to have a Labour government, we know that. So rather than voting for another Labour MP, if you vote for a Green MP on the island, you're going to have somebody that's going to push them and hold their feet to the fire on issues like this we've been discussing today. Because otherwise, a Labour MP that's elected will be told how to vote by Keir Starmer. As a Green, we do not have party whips. We're aiming for 4 seats on the mainland, obviously our 2 seats here on the island too. So we'd have a Green team in Westminster. Caroline Lucas has been influential. She's been a Green MP now for over a decade. And we've also seen the work that our members of the House of Lords have done. So Baroness Jenny Jones and Baroness Natalie Bennett, they've been making massive impact in the House of Lords as kind of those annoying little prodders to the government, as Jenny would say.
But so vote for me, I'll be an annoying little prodder.
Wow, no. But what I'm saying is we can make change by even being just in government to push Labour to go harder and faster on things, which is what's needed. We need ambitious plans and ambitious goals.
Yeah. If you did wake up on July the 5th and you had the letters MP after your name,
yep.
There will come a time when there will be a ballot for a private member's bill.
Yep. And
you can put your name in and you can put forward a law, and those that come top can put forward a law, but it mustn't cost any money. So if you came top in the private member's bill, what would you do that doesn't actually cost money but would make a significant difference?
I think we need the recognition by government we are an island. So I know that the Isle of Wight Council have been pushing government to make us have an agreement and a settlement there, but actually we need to go push harder and faster, like Scotland have done, making sure we're part of this island forum, and actually that we're getting as much money from government in the long term, but getting that recognition in the first place that we're an island, we've got X, Y and Z problems, primarily the ferries. Actually we've got that agreement there in principle. Won't cost anything, there's no guaranteed funding from them. We've got an agreement in principle and understanding there.
Yeah. Is there anything you disagree with the Green Party on?
So our manifesto this year is, I would say, more tame than it previously has been, because we understand the situation we're in. I know though that a lot of people have concerns, and I'm neither to nor fro on this, but being anti-nuclear.
Yeah.
I speak to a lot of people on the doorsteps that saying actually the environmental impact is, virtually zero when you're doing nuclear energy, but you've got the waste issues. So on that one, I'm not so anti-nuclear, kind of a bit more neutral on that. So if we need to get to a position where we're reducing fossil fuels, and that maybe is used as a stopgap, I would not be opposed to that.
Okay. Now, I know that you are keen on proportional representation.
Yep.
Is that something that's coming up on the door, or is it just something that you feel is...
So it's not necessarily PRs coming up on the door, but what is coming up is people don't feel their vote has counted over the last 20 years of had a Tory MP on the island. They've gone, we voted Labour every single time, we voted Liberal in the last 10 years, and actually we've not achieved what we wanted to. So if we had proportional representation, we'd have more Green MPs, but also more Reform MPs, because that's what people are voting for.
Mm.
The smaller parties aren't represented properly in Westminster, so by having PR we would do that. And we saw in the European elections how people's votes actually counted in the European Parliament, and we should replicate that here.
So you've been out knocking on doors and at the hustings and sulking in the street. Have you come up with anything amusing happened to you?
I think it's been quite a boring campaign in that sense. Couple of incidences of, leafleting and dogs coming to doors, but nothing as scary as in Bristol when one of our councillors lost a fingertip.
Oh dear.
It's been quite a tame campaign for us.
Richard Quigley said he'd been mistaken for Bob Seeley, which he clearly wasn't terribly impressed with. But Cameron, thank you very much. It's been fun to talk to you. Enjoy the rest of your campaign and the best of luck.
Thank you.